What's up guys, Chicks here from Chicks Tech Reviews. So today I bring you a head-to-head comparison between the new TicWatch E3 versus the TicWatch Pro 3. So let's begin with the physical differences. So side by side, the TicWatch E3 is 44mm in diameter versus 47mm on the TicWatch Pro 3. Build quality, the TicWatch E3 is made from a plastic watch case, so plastic back, plastic sides and plastic bezels. You have a thickness of 12.6mm and it weighs only 47.9 grams with the straps on, and the color is Panther Black. The TicWatch Pro 3 has a plastic back with stainless steel frame and a nice smooth bezel finish. The bezels are actually quite thin with time markings going all the way around, and the watch color is called Shadow Black. The TicWatch Pro 3 is 12.2mm in thickness and it weighs 61 grams. So the new E3 model is slightly smaller in diameter, smaller screen and lighter in weight, although both watches have nearly the same thickness. So that was the physical differences. Now let's talk about the specs. The TicWatch E3 has a 1.3-inch TFT display, so single screen, 360 by 360 resolution, supports always on display, and it is a 2.5D curved glass. The TicWatch Pro 3 has dual screens sandwiched together, so you have a Retina AMOLED display with a low-powered FSTN display on top of it. It has a 454 by 454 display resolution, and it also supports an always-on display. Now let's talk about power and performance. Both smartwatches have exactly the same chipset, so you're getting the latest Snapdragon Wear 4100 quad-core clocked at 1.7 GHz with 1 GB of RAM and 8 GB of internal storage. Both watches also support 2 GHz Wi-Fi and NFC with Google payments, and both have the same Bluetooth version 4.2. Built-in GPS is slightly different. The E3 has a triple satellite GPS and the TicWatch Pro 3 has a 5 satellite GPS. Now, if we talk about the OS, both smartwatches are running the very latest WearOS by Google, which means plenty of customization options, plenty of downloadable watch faces, supports third-party apps like Spotify, Strava, and lots more. Both smartwatches have the same Google voice assistants, and all the health features are exactly the same. So both support all-day heart rate sensors, all-day SpO2 blood oxygen monitoring, automatic sleep monitoring, including daytime sleep naps. You've got automatic workout detection on both. So if you go for a run with this watch on, 5 minutes later, it will detect your activity and start automatically tracking it for you. Now, both support Bluetooth phone calls directly on the watch. You have automatic stress monitoring and lots of built-in exercise options. So exactly the same health features. So what about iOS? Well, both of these smartwatches work on Android with full functionality. However, both smartwatches also support iPhone, and all the health tracking features work absolutely fine on iPhone. But there are some limitations on iOS. No Bluetooth phone calls, and you cannot reply to messages or notifications from the watch. Everything else works fine on iOS. Now, on the wrist, the E3 does feel a lot lighter in weight, a lot less bulk. You can see how they compare on my wrist side by side. I do have a wrist circumference of 7 inches, and I'm actually all right with the full-size TicWatch Pro 3. It doesn't feel too big, too small. It feels just right. But the E3 version is actually more compact, and it is slightly more comfortable for that reason. Now, both watches have 2 buttons on the side which equally stick out the same. They feel like very similar buttons, and you've got your microphone in between the buttons. On the other side, you have your speaker location. They are slightly different. So the TicWatch Pro 3 has the speaker location on the left side, whereas the E3 has it slightly underneath the bezel. Now, looking at the bottom of the watch, we have our health sensors. Both watches support all-day heart rate tracking and SpO2 monitoring. The sensors are exactly the same on both watches, but they've just moved the charger pins on the top of the E3, whereas the Pro 3 has it on the left. But fortunately, you have exactly the same charger for both smartwatches. So it's a magnetic USB charger, which clips on nice and easy, as you can see. Now, the TicWatch E3 takes around 110 minutes to fully charge that 380 mAh battery. And the TicWatch Pro 3 takes 90 minutes to fully charge that 577 mAh battery. Now, battery life with real-time usage, the E3 with all health monitoring features on will give you 1 whole day of battery life. The TicWatch Pro 3 model with all health tracking on will give you 3 whole days of battery life. Both smartwatches have the power saving mode called Essential Mode. TicWatch Pro 3 will give you 45 days in the power save mode, and the E3 model will give you 30 days in power save mode. And the Essential Mode will actually kick in automatically on the TicWatch E3 when the battery drops below a certain percent. Now, Essential Mode in the TicWatch Pro 3 works a bit differently. It switches off the AMOLED display, so all you can see is the FSTN low power display. That stays on, and in this mode you can expect 45 days battery life. And in the E3 model, the Essential Mode gives you the basic necessities. So you're getting in both date, time, step counter, heart rate sensor, and sleep tracking. Everything else is disabled when in Essential Mode. And to exit Essential Mode, all you do is keep the power button pressed for a few seconds. You'll feel a vibration and the watches will restart. Now let's quickly talk about the wrist straps. Now both smartwatches come with silicone straps. The E3 has a 20mm strap and it's a standard plain design, and the Pro 3 model has this stitch design. It is silicone, but you're getting a stitch design. It almost looks like leather, and the strap is slightly thicker, so it's a 22mm strap. So 20mm versus 22mm, they are both easy to remove and replace with your own strap. Also, both smartwatches are IP68 certified and support pool swimming, which can track your swimming stats, including strokes, distance, etc. So that was the physical and specs compared, but realistically, which watch is better for you? And this is how they both look on my wrists. And in case you're wondering, I have a wrist circumference of 7 inches. Both watches feel super comfortable. The TicWatch E3 is a much lighter and smaller option. It's a budget build and looks as such. The TicWatch Pro 3 is a premium build and design. It feels slightly bigger and slightly heavier, but also very comfortable. Both watches offer the same health features, same performance. And if you're looking for a premium smartwatch, then definitely consider the TicWatch Pro 3. Otherwise, the TicWatch E3 has a more minimalistic budget design and build quality. And it's also a more unisex design, being slightly smaller and lighter on the wrist. Now, the other thing to consider is the new E3 model has a smaller battery, hence less battery life than the Pro 3 model. So 1 full day battery life is what you can expect from the E3 model, and the TicWatch Pro 3 will give you 3 solid day battery lives. Finally, the TicWatch E3 costs $199 US or 179 in the UK, and the Pro 3 model costs $299 or 289 in the UK. So the Pro 3 version is $100 more, and for that extra 100 you are getting a bigger AMOLED display with unique dual display technology, and of course that bigger battery life. Everything else is pretty much the same. So I think the TicWatch E3 is a great budget option for those who don't want to spend $300 on a smartwatch, and having the same performance and health tracking capabilities as the Pro is definitely a point in the right direction. I hope you found this video useful. Any questions, do fire away in the comments. Meanwhile, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.